Hi everybody, good evening and welcome to another late night stream of UBOAT. And yeah, this time it's real late night. So, here I am at a local time of 1 o'clock. Yeah, we could still maybe do some 2 hours of streaming and have fun with this wonderful, I would say, best ever submarine simulation where you slip into the role of a Second World War German submarine commander. And yeah, this is quite a big project, I would say, because I'm doing this since a year or something and just doing this playthrough, which means that in real life, a year ago or something, I would actually have to check. Not quite sure how long it was ago, but I started back then with a complete playthrough of the game. So this game, U-Boat, takes place in a wonderful open world where you could just go everywhere. You have wonderful real interaction with real enemies, real convoys. You may even meet friendly submarines which support you. And yeah, back then, at the very beginning of the Second World War, in September 39, we started with a small, tiny Type 2 submarine, and well, here we are 4.5 years later, and I shared with you stream by stream, mission by mission, and yeah. By the way, since a while I also upload these streams to YouTube, so there is a bit of a history to be found there. Hey, weight loss, good evening. Great to have you in. Pretty late tonight. It is. I hope you're fine. Hope you had a good Saturday. And yeah, here we are. After we went through all these adventures of the last 4.5 years of war, well, we did the North Sea, the close Atlantic, then we went further and further, pushed into the Atlantic, and finally even reached these hunting grounds on the other side of the big pond by the help of the milk cows. These supply submarines went back to the Arctic convoys. From there, having finished that one, went through the Strait of Gibraltar to the Mediterranean and finished this mission there. And here we are now doing, haven't reported back to the flotilla of La Rochelle and doing the last stand mission set, while we have already finished the first one, and our next milestone is to sink 100,000 tons of enemy traders, and as you see, we are not so far away from that. And after a very successful last patrol, we at the end of last stream yesterday night, we returned to La Rochelle, and now our job is to refit, to restore, to rearm the submarine, and then be out again. Ah, yeah, Star Wars Armada, yep. So, on which side do you play the rebels in the game? I'm not quite sure. I mean, do you play it in co-op with your friends, or do you play it against them? Okay. The other plays the rebels. Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. What you now and then tell about that game. So we fired all of our torpedoes. Our deck gun is completely empty. So a lot of stuff to restock. Let's take a look at the galley. Why do we have so many spare parts? That's a bit weird. Okay, let's first make sure that all our engineers have a full complement of repair parts with them. And there he comes. Yeah, he was looning on the pier. Skylarking on the pier, maybe. What about you and you? Yeah, okay, alright, that looks good. Well, yeah, let's open the port menu and let's see who's here. Quartermaster, he's the guy to restock our stuff. Okay, Empire Strikes Back. It's like when they evacuate this ice planet, right? What was his name? Its name of the planet, I mean. Ah, yes. Yep. Yeah, lovely. Hey, okay. You have a streak. Wow. 35 watch streak. That's great. Respect. Thanks a lot for being such a faithful watcher.
Guten Tag, Herr Kommandant. Was kann ich für Sie tun?
Yeah, it's always great to have you in the stream. Ah, the movies, the Star Wars movies. I mean, 4, 5, and 6, the old ones, they are so beautifully modeled. I mean, storyline and the whole theater in which the whole plot is set into. I just love that. Everything feels kind of real and plausible. They did a great job back then. So,
Jawohl, das steht derzeit zur Verfügung.
Let's start here. Yeah, we can get some coffee. There is loads of coffee on stock, obviously. Now the torpedoes, bow torpedo storage. T1, T3, T3, T3. I just try to avoid these ones with these old school pistols. So then the torpedo tubes themselves. T3, T3, do I get some? T1, T1, here we are. And now what about the bow torpedo external storage? T1 and a T3. And now stern torpedo tube. Yeah, like usual, I'm gonna put a Zaunkönig T5 into my stern tube and also in the stern storage. If I happen to have a second one, I haven't. Maybe I'm gonna check that out later. Refuel, now ammo, the flag. Yeah, I really prefer high explosive caliber. What about the deck gun now? Armor piercing, large caliber, high explosive. Let's get that. Yeah, 30 rounds is as much as nothing actually. Provisions. Yeah, let's get the sausages. And the equipment. Yeah, let's restock our potassium absorbers, the filters. Yeah, we used one of these. Let's get one back, one of these decoys. And yeah, come on. I think I'm gonna sell these. I need the storage space. And maybe get some of the provisions on board. Let's get them.
Sonst noch etwas, Herr Kommandant? Sehr gut. Kommen Sie zu mir, wenn Sie etwas benötigen, Herr Kommandant.
So now let's rest until we have all that stuff being moved on board. Six days. Here we are. Ah, well. Let's check the boat. So we have two different types of food. That doesn't do any harm. Torpedoes should be fine like that. Yep. Bow torpedo tubes loaded very well.
Guten Tag, Herr Kommandant. Jawohl, das steht derzeit zur Verfügung.
Do we have more sausages? Nope. We haven't. Yeah, but that's just fine. Let's get the exotic fruits.
Sonst noch etwas, Herr Kommandant? Sehr gut. Kommen Sie zu mir, wenn Sie etwas benötigen, Herr Kommandant.
Let's wait it out again.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Yeah, okay, so as we discussed yesterday, I'm not going to continue the training, but see that I have that slot free. To freely place the milk cows if I want to. Maybe that's a good point to give it a save. W555. Lucky number, hopefully. look at the crew. So I have a full complement. Ah, yes, yeah. Thank you very much. Always good to have a few more eyes watching what I do. I would have forgotten that. I might have sailed with that empty tube or empty storage slot.
Guten Tag, Herr Kommandant. Was kann ich für Sie tun?
Yeah, much appreciated to get that reminder. Thank you very much.
Jawohl, das
Ja.
steht derzeit zur Verfügung.
Torpedoes. Yeah, you're 100% right. We get here the stern torpedo storage and get us one more T5.
Sonst noch etwas,
Ja.
Herr Kommandant? Sehr gut. Kommen Sie zu mir, wenn Sie etwas benötigen.
How long does it take? Not much time. Ah, yeah, by the way. Let's clear the map. Yeah, I didn't mention it, at least not today. I am playing at maximum difficulty level, almost maximum difficulty level, which includes that enemy ships are not automatically displayed on the map, but I actually have to do the tracking of my targets manually with the drawing function. And this is pretty well done, so it's in contrast to other submarine simulations in the past. I remember where doing these kind of drawings on the map was pretty much a pain in the ass. For this game here, it's pretty nice. Yes, Colin, sorry, I didn't quite, I just had one eye on the chat, so I was thinking that it was weight loss to remind me, and only now I see that it is you. Yeah. Great that you're in. I hope you had a good Saturday. And as I said, thanks a lot for the reminder.
Ich höre, Herr Kommandant.
We are ready for orders. Okay, yeah, that's funny because in German we have quite a similar saying. Not quite sure, but I couldn't quote it, but we have something similar.
Werfen Sie einen Blick auf die Seekarten, Herr Kommandant. Wir haben neue Erkenntnisse über die Geleitzug-Routen im
Okay, so show
Hier
me.
sind die vorrangigen Planquadrate. für
Yeah, I'm
die
definitely
Seefahrt.
continue the last stand mission set. So here we have one mission with low difficulty. But with a large number of enemy vessels. Here we have nice medium difficulty, very large number of vessels. And there is still a mission for the weather station deployment, mine laying. Yeah, of course, there's a variety, difficult word, a variety of different missions still available, but I think I'm gonna stick to the last stand and see that I get it done, and I take the mission with the higher difficulty level. Increased activity of enemy aircraft. Well, I think I can handle that. So select this one.
Gute Jagd, Herr Kommandant.
Thank you very much. So guys, please get ready. We are, well, let's do some last check. all the stores are where they are supposed to be. That looks good. What about the ventilation system? Yeah, we are well equipped now with filters again. We have restocked the coffee. Torpedoes. Yeah, I think everything is fine. The clean version, so what would be the other one?
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
By the way, just a few hours ago I got a text message from an old school friend, and he is obviously visiting Edinburgh at the moment. So he sent me 2 photos, one from a pub and the other one, I think it was Holyrood Castle, probably. Or is it Holyrood Palace, right? So, yeah, I'm pretty much invite him. I have to get to Scotland again. I really have to. So I think we are fine, ready for cast off. So guys, let's mark a target on the map and please get us out of the port. Kleine Fahrt. Time of the day, evening. Yeah, come on, let's give it a save. You never know. Yeah, a few times I experienced quite a bad surprise out there. That's great. You'd forget your balls if they weren't already in a wee bag. That's good. I will remember that one, and this also nicely translates to German. I think I will find some opportunity to use that one also in German. So there we are, moving out of the pens, out of that submarine aircraft shelter.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
The moon is up there. Yeah, so that moon is actually, how would you call that in English? The moon is increasing. In German we would say, der Mond nimmt zu. Zunehmender Mond. But that, if I translate that to English word by word, it somehow doesn't sound right. How do you say that the moon is enlarging, that he is in this phase where he grows bigger? Glaswegian, yeah, I remember that you mentioned that. And I remember that I met people from Glasgow, and well, they had their very distinct way of expressing things. I would actually say it like that. Increasing moon and decreasing moon. Yeah, okay, nice. Yeah, I actually remember that once I had a wonderful hiking holiday with a pal in Scotland, and there was one region, and we entered it, and we were doing just cross-country hiking with big backpacks and tents and food and everything, and a cooker in it and drink. And yeah, we entered an area which was kind of marked with big signs warning that it was stalking season. And yeah, we didn't give much of a fuck because we actually just had to walk through that area, or our whole plan of that hike would have to be changed. And so we went into that area. Yeah, we didn't meet any stalkers, but we met a guy from Glasgow. And yeah, he was a nice guy, and we went on walking together with him. We met him just in the middle of nowhere by chance, and then we started to talk about these stalkers. And yeah, well, then I was very surprised how often one could use the word fuck in some sentences that would still make sense then. Anybody remembers Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide Through the Galaxy? There is, I think it's in the part 4 or 3, part 3 maybe, where they are searching for these wicked gold pieces. And one of the wicked gold pieces that they are looking for as some kind of symbol, it has turned into the award for the most frequent use of the word fuck in a serious screenplay. I remember that one. Pretty much loved that. I love Douglas Adams. Of course, what I do here is pretty hazardous if you consider that I'm gonna upload all this to YouTube later. I'm pretty sure that you kind of, you don't get banned, but if you use certain words and terms, you have less visibility. You are down rated in visibility. So, I think at that point we could go to cruise speed already. Yeah, beautiful. The sky is still red from the sunset in the west. Yeah, up to now we are lucky. No air raid while we are leaving. Yeah, I didn't have too much contact with Glaswegians. Actually, this guy, he was great, nice guy, and we had a pretty nice afternoon joining his way, or him joining us. And well, we separated sometime later, but yeah, that was pretty nice. And actually, then later, when I spent that year in Edinburgh, I only once took the effort to go for Glasgow by bus. So a friend of mine and me, we took the bus to Glasgow from Edinburgh, spent the day there, and were bit frustrated because we started, he was German as well, and we started to think that we might start to master the English language, and well, also the way that Edinburgh people used to talk, and then we figured out that the people in Edinburgh had a completely different, or at least much more challenging for us, much more challenging way of pronouncing things. That looks weird. Hey, there is no... Ah, yes, there's this other island, yeah. Wasn't quite aware of it. And there we are on the way again. Mr. Schultz, please. Yeah, by the way, we have that new sailor on board, and I could actually upgrade him, giving him some specialization training. So what would I like to do? Yeah, let's give him some... Yeah, let's make him a specialist in discipline. Here, there he is. Yeah, sorry, Colin, I hope you don't take any offense in me talking like that about the accent from the people from Glasgow. And I don't mean it in any negative way, because I'm a big fan of accents, actually. It's always a bit of a trouble, also in Germany. There are regions in Germany where I am pretty much lost and have pretty big problems understanding people. But on the other hand, I pretty much like this kind of local touch and tradition. Ah, yeah, waxing and yeah, nice. I think I read that once. Yeah, now it rings a bell. Waxing and waning. Yeah, that would be. Yep. Hmm? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I wouldn't have been sure. Hey, Aquising. Good evening. Good evening. How are you doing? I hope you had a good day. Yeah, I was wondering how we would probably call or talk about the moon. Like, do we have it? Now the moon is hidden behind the clouds, but, well, actually we have a waxing moon at the moment. And I wasn't aware how you probably would call it, increasing, decreasing moon, but yeah, I remember that term, waxing and waning. I just wouldn't have been sure whether you would use it. My gut feeling would have told me that I might have read it in some kind of old book, that it's maybe obsolete English, but it's actually recent language to say it like that, yeah. Yeah, that's about English. And I have no idea how you would describe that in French. So I'm never quite sure about that. I mean, equalizing. I know that you are from the English-speaking part of Canada, but how is it about you guys from the English parts? Are you also fluent in French? I guess you learned it at school, right? But, I mean, is it easy peasy? So are you fluent in French as well, or is French still something like... Yeah, I have to admit that I never learned French at school. Yeah, a few years ago I had the opportunity to take some French lessons job-wise, because I was working for a German company which had a dependence in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, and so I had some French lessons for 1 year. But yeah, my French is still, I have to admit it, almost non-existent. Yeah, okay, alright, so you would... So that sounds like you learn French more like... Yeah, people from other countries just learn it. Hey, Angelito Misk, do I pronounce it right? Great to have you. How are you doing? Yeah, well, my day was great. I mean, in real life it was pretty relaxing, and yeah, in the game I started pretty late. So I don't know where you're coming from, but around here meanwhile it's 10 minutes to 2 and I only just started streaming at 1 o'clock. And, well, we just refurbished and rearmed and restocked the boat, and here we are. Yeah, we just left the port of La Rochelle and we are going out for the last stand mission. We are on May 1944, so we are pretty deep. Okay, Angelito, yep. So you're also from Central Europe then, we have exactly the same time. Yeah, as for me, I'm actually situated in the, Frankfurt area. Yeah, that's nice to hear. This is really great game. But yeah, the mechanics, I would say, feel pretty realistic, but they are challenging. So, any tips? So what I usually do is I never use this feature to determine the speed with the periscope. What I usually do is I do hydrophone checks regularly. And when you once have detected the contact, you could mark that contact on the map, then move towards the contact for 1 hour, exactly 1 hour, and then do the hydrophone check again, and you get a second data point. And this actually gives you their course, and this gives you their speed. So just measure the distance, what distance in nautical miles the target traveled in 1 hour, and you know how fast it goes. And with that information you then can go in close, and yeah, so you don't have to figure that out anymore. That also helps you with the angle on bow then. And well, always get closer than 1 mile before you fire your torpedo. At least for me, I'm never that good in all these figures, so usually I try to get to, well, 1,000 yards or something, maybe even closer, and only then fire your torpedoes, or it's just too much from the hip, too high probability to just miss. Yeah, I mean, this is a game, it's a great game, but you need just to get some practice in. That's what I would say. Try to get close. Never try to fire a torpedo on 2 miles or something. I never do that. I really always try to get to 1,800, maybe closer, 700 yards. And I always try to get the figures, like their course and their speed, from the hydrophone checks before I actually get into vision range. Yeah, the variable speed mod, yeah, that would, I'm considering to use it in the future on my next walkthrough. Yeah, 1,000, 1.2 thousand yards. Yep, everything below 1 mile, yep. Okay, Colin, I wasn't aware of that. So you were also talking about a full moon and the new moon. This is pretty much like we have it in German, where we say it's Vollmond and it's Neumond. Yep. Yeah, Angelito, great to have you in. I mean, you would always find a few guys here in this chat who have pretty much experience in the game. And newbies are always welcome.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Here we are on the way out to the mission area.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 40 Grad.
Okay, 40 degrees. It might be planes. Let's give it a save. Probably it's plain. I don't think that there is enemy fleet activity so close into the Bay of Biscay. Ah, good question. That's a good question, but I can't answer that. I could just take a look at my Steam account and see how many hours I do have in total. I do have 1,300 hours in the game in total, and this playthrough should have a lot of hours. But it's just guesswork. 500 hours. Wouldn't be surprised if it would be 500 hours. Probably more, actually. Yeah, aqua icing. That's what I like about you. Yes, it depends on how deep the bottom actually is, but you're right in principle. When you just have something like 100 meters or something, you could put yourself onto the sea bottom and you would be pretty much stealthed away. Yep. So when it's shallow, when the sea is shallow, it's pretty reasonable to put yourself onto the sea bottom when the escorts are chasing you. Yeah, but often, particularly later in the game. So here we still have 100 to 200 meters, but when we get out into the Atlantic, we are still up to something like 300, 400, 500, 5,000 meters. But yeah, when you start the game in the North Sea is pretty shallow. Never much deeper than 100 meters. And there you could beautifully use that tactics. Like when the escort is starting to chase you, put yourself onto the sea bottom. Yep. Later in the war, when they have hedgehogs, that's a bad idea. Early in the war, they just have a depth charge, and that might work out well. But yeah, since I know that the enemies used to have hedgehogs, I never do that tactics anymore. Never put yourself stationary on the ground, because you just can't get away from hedgehogs.
Alarm! Flugzeug im Anflug! Wir wurden
Shit. Okay, I did fuck it up. I completely forgot that there was this airplane coming in. Guys, please repair the holes.
Ja, Herr Kaloin, ich kümmere mich darum. Zu Befehl, Herr Kommandant.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Meter.
Yeah, well, yeah, usually you can, yeah, you can't play the game without speeding up, even when you're on the surface, but you shouldn't speed it up like I did when just before you had some contacts, some radar contacts.
Hüllenbruch im Bugtorpedoraum repariert.
Lenzpumpe einschalten.
Hüllenbruch im Bugtorpedoraum repariert.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
65 Meter.
So guys, get the water out here. Do we get it? A lot of damage up there.
70 Meter.
A lot of damage on the tower, on the conning tower. Yeah, that was my stupid thing. I had a radar contact and then, like, why? Because we had the chat.
60 Meter.
I forgot about the contact and just did time acceleration. In principle, you could and you have to do time acceleration when you're traveling on the surface. And the game usually stops when anything approaches you, which is dangerous. The game is automatically stopping the time acceleration. Yeah, but no, we are fine. Pump is working. We are stable at 50 feet, 50 meters.
50 Meter.
And we are actually getting the water out. So all is fine by now.
Ja?
Herr Kapitän?
And I think we had 2 injured guys, but looks like they are fine again. Alright, have a good night. So, if you wouldn't mind, I'm always glad to get a follow. But yeah, don't feel pushed, just do as you like. But I would be pretty glad to have you in the stream again. I'm doing this one regularly. So have a good night. And maybe see you tomorrow. Yeah, nice. Thanks a lot. That's very much appreciated.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kanol?
Jawohl.
Ja. Verstanden, Herr Kommandant.
Don't know why this.
Verstanden, Herr Kommandant.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Ja?
Herr Kaloin.
Ja.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Okay, we had to use quite a few of our repair kits.
Jawohl. Verstanden, Kommandant.
Herr Kapitän. Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Okay, and now he is salvaging, which is good. So while repairing, my officers created 4 scrap metal parts, and now we can convert them into spare parts again. Yep, right column. They needed a little bit of repairing when we are back to the surface. Okay guys, you can step away from battle station.
Ja?
Tauchen auf 20 Meter.
Aktuelle Tiefe 55 Meter.
Yeah, there was a warning actually that this patrol, that there should be heavy air cover.
Aktuelle Tiefe 20 Meter.
Mr. Schneider, please salvage replacement parts.
Etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Herr Kaloin,
25 Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 20 Meter.
Ja. Bestätige. 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 Ja.
Let's check the depth.
Melden Sie mir die aktuelle Tiefenmessung.
Aktuelle Tiefe 25 Meter.
Melden Sie mir die aktuelle Tiefenmessung.
Yeah, it's pretty shallow around here. Okay, we were lucky that we're still alive.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind auf Seerohrtiefe. Boot für Rundblick eingesteuert.
Anblasen.
Let's get back to the surface. Wow, so much damage being done there. Looks like everything is broken.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, looks like the planes are leaving us alone.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 125 Grad.
They're still there. Come on.
Buchrohre wieder einsatzbereit.
Schäden am Turm repariert.
Herr Kaloi, wir sollten das Boot nach versteckten Schäden absuchen.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's check for hidden damages. For that we have to go.
Auf Gefechtsstation! Bleibt ruhig und konzentriert, Männer. Wir schaffen das.
Yeah, around here we had some rain in the afternoon, but the rain was just enough to, well, like in the sauna. When you do the Aufguss, whatever that is called in English. So the rain didn't really cool down, but it was just increasing humidity. Okay, there is still this contact around. All right. Looks like the boat is okay. No hidden flaws.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle. Herr Kapitän?
Yeah, good that we have these skills to salvage scrap metal and change it into repair parts. Okay, looks like all the repairs are done.
Ja,
Herr Kaloy? Herr Kaloy? Herr Kaloy? Herr Kapitän?
Herr Kapitän?
Jawohl.
So, let's carry on getting to our target area. Yeah, let's report that encounter with these airplanes to the headquarters. They gave us quite a bit of a beating. But yeah, now all the damages are repaired. Just cost us a bit of replacement parts. Yeah, Eduard Strauss obviously used also some of his first aid kits. Just a few decorative, difficult word, decorative scratches. Yeah, well, we have repaired them. No harm done, finally, we are still alive. The two sailors who got injured are fine again. What about discipline? 95%, that's just fine.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Funkmesssignale geortet. Teilung 5.
Oh, it's airplanes again. Dead ahead. I really wonder what to do. Should I dive? Yeah, let's go for periscope depth. And let's run out the snorkel. And see if we can get away from these guys. All right.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Wird erledigt, Herr Kanol. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Anblasen.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter. Alarm! Flugzeug
Dafür
in
haben wir
Sicht!
trainiert.
Heilung!
Oh no, come on. 200 degrees must be somewhere there. Is it really airplanes coming in? They can't still be there, come on. It's a bit of a swell, yeah, you're right. What's the wind speed? 15 knots. That's a bit.
Verstanden. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kanol.
Let's see if we can defend ourselves on the surface. So man the guns, the bosun please. You are the marksman.
Verstanden. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kanol.
Herr Kaloy.
Diese besetzen. Äußerste Kraft voraus.
Go flank please.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Funkraum besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Herr Kaloy, eingehendes Funktelegramm.
Okay.
Wir wurden entdeckt.
Das wird nicht einfach, aber wir haben schon Schlimmeres überstanden. Lasst uns ruhig bleiben.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
Alles klar. Ich werde mich darum kümmern.
Receive that message please.
Wir wurden von einem nahegelegenen U-Boot über ein mögliches Ziel in diesem Gebiet informiert.
Herr Kaloy.
Feuer frei. Feuer frei.
Just in case. Just in case. If there is enemies coming in. Now let's see what we can do. Yeah, we could just carry on and be aware get away without any conflict. Aircraft detected. Give the save. And where are they? That's us there, pretty sure. There is this little dot, and that's us. Oh, come on. No, fingers crossed that we can take them down.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
Yeah. Okay.
Flugzeug abgeschossen.
We got one.
Kurs setzen. Feindliches Flugzeug abgeschossen.
Wow. Alright, we got two of them. Nicely done, Mr. Schultz.
Kurs setzen. Funkraum besetzt.
Torpedo Rohr 3 gewartet.
Now, alarm. Step away from battle stations, please.
Telegramm gesendet. Herr Kaloi?
Hey, where are you? Where are the wrecks? They were sinking actually yeah. Let's just ignore them. Let's just ignore them and carry on. Sorry guys, you attacked us actually.
Kurs setzen.
Yeah, Gerald, nice to have you in. Good evening. How are you doing? Hope you had a good Saturday. D-Day is in another month. Yeah, exactly. So the war is actually turning some, yeah, taking some turns. Yeah, Gerald, I think this is a bit, I don't know, the risk is pretty high to shoot these guys down. I think in real life you would always dive away with your submarine and not getting into conflict with one of these planes because the risk would just be too high. Planes coming in, firing rockets that late in the war. That's pretty high probability that your boat gets seriously damaged. So the most realistic reaction actually would have been to just dive away and wait it out until they have to return back home. Yeah, stop direct orders, please. Everybody turn in if you need to turn in. Yeah. Mr. Schultz, our business officer of the watch at the moment, so let him do the navigation to keep the navigation precision up. Oh, I was actually starting a mess here. So let me be AFK for 1 minute. Yeah, fly fishing, yep. Just a 9-pound cannon and sword right here. Yep. Yes. Yeah, I love that reference to Caribbean legends. But nevertheless, allow me to be AFK for 1 minute. I'll be back in 60 seconds. Hey, not wet, just cold. Great that you're in. Yeah, sorry, I was just AFK. Be back in 1 minute. Yeah, I have been doing some mess around here. Spilling my water all over my workplace. as I don't have a pump here on my desk, I just got a few tissues to clean up that mess. All right. Yeah, not wet, just cold. Great that you dropped in. Around here it's pretty late actually. So I was already considering to stop the stream, but yeah, we had some nice action. Yeah, planes coming in. And they did give us quite a beating, but right now, yeah, we were able to repair all the damages, and yeah, we are only outbound towards our mission area, patrol area, yep. Yeah, the first airplane attack, I tried to dive away. Yeah, it was a bit of my own fault. I went on time acceleration, although I actually should have known that the airplanes are around. And then they did give me quite a bit of a beating. I dived away, repaired my stuff, and got back to the surface. And then we had a second wave of airplanes attacking, and well, I didn't dive away, but just manned the anti-aircraft guns and shot them down. Actually, my dear bosun Mr. Schultz did. Since they do have these rockets, I always feel that it is pretty hazardous to do that, but well, it worked out this time. And it did work out many times before, actually. There must be planes around. Mr. Schultz, please man the guns again.
Navigation besetzen.
And on we go, on our way to our regular patrol area.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Navigation besetzen.
Yeah, this always takes a bit of patience to get out to the patrol area.
2 gewartet.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Deckgeschütz besetzen.
No, please.
Navigation besetzen.
Just check the map, please.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Sorry, guys. Ah, it's so hot around here. It's pretty ridiculous that I have to sneeze. Yeah, here in Central Europe we had the kind of, I think it's the hottest summer since decades. And the driest summer. I'm sorry. So on we go.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
At least at the moment we can stay surfaced and don't have to do the snorkel thing all the time. Now it's 2 o'clock. Pretty bright. 2 o'clock at night, and there is the moon up there. I think it's maybe full moon by now. The moon was waxing actually. Yeah, we are approaching summer. Days are getting longer and longer. Springtide, yep, exactly. Although out here that would not affect us in any way, I guess. But yes, yeah. It's so amazing, isn't it, that the moon, yeah, the current, but it's not simulated, is it? They are, yeah. Yeah, it would be nice if actually currents were hated in the game. Yeah, yeah, well, weight loss, but I mean, you could put it, yeah, like, difficult, make it a difficulty setting. Let it to be turned off and on. So turn the effect off and you're fine, or to turn the effect on, and guys like us would be pretty happy to have all that detailed figuring out. But yeah, it would be tricky because, I mean, the currents, they are pretty complicated. You have some, yeah, general currents all over the oceans, and then you have the time dependent currents of the tides. Yeah, you could do that, but that would be one more challenge. Maybe some modding guy might take that challenge. Yeah, this is the north, and as we are approaching summer, we already have a hint of sunlight in the northeast. On we go.
Navigation besetzen.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin? Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kanol.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
We are approaching our patrol area, actually. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a problem of the game, yeah. But yeah, I think you could solve it with difficulty levels. Having difficulty settings turn certain features on and off, like they already have. And this one would also be a feature that you could turn on and off, like for hardcore players like us, and for players who would, yeah, like to start into the game, into this issue of submarining. Yeah, and still, I wouldn't call the game mismanaged. They started well. My suspicion is that these guys had perfect vision in the beginning and they went into it. And then at one point, maybe that top level company took over, telling them what to do. And some marketing guys who were starting to kind of, yeah, telling them what the market wants, what the market likes, and that might have been this point where everything went a little bit astray from what the two of us would like to have. Yeah. So, and I agree. So their market analysis might not be quite correct, because most probably the guys who play that game, the guys who buy that game, they are not mainstream players, but they are yeah, aficionados. So they would do well to improve the game for people like us. Yeah, I mean, the game is great. Let's admit that. The game is pretty great. I think it's the best submarine simulation we ever had. And of course, there is a lot of things that we would wish to have been implemented. But let's see, maybe the modders will give us that. But in principle, the game is fine. And the developers did a great job. That's my point of view. They did much better than any other submarine game development crew before. Particularly this cross-section view that we get here, that's really groundbreaking. We never had that before, had we? And I mean, this kind of dynamic view, and then the crew, having all the guys in the crew being simulated in detail. This gives the game so much immersion. And yeah, come on, the modders could really give us some more fun in the game, I think, for the next 5 years. And maybe they're gonna do a follow-up. Maybe there will be a U-Boat 2. And if they are really keeping up developing and further developing the game, introducing more game concepts, I think I would be willing to pay them another $40 or $50 for U-Boat 2. Just because they did such a great job. And I think they can do it. They can still work on that game and improve it. Let's carry on. Let's see that we get to our mission area. Our patrol area. Yeah, well, I mean, actually you would need to allow them to make some money. I mean, all gaming is actually about earning money. This is what we have to be frank about. And when them and their publishers kind of decided that they don't do enough money with this one anymore, I think it would be relatively straightforward to start to develop a U-Boat type U-Boat 2. And if there is a lot of stuff that they could implement, of course they would need some decent selling points. And they like you said before, they would have to make up their minds on who are their customers. And the customers of U-Boat actually are not some arcade playing guys, but yeah, more these guys like us, live in immersion and really loving to go to the limit. Yeah, what I always have in the back of my mind, if you have a team, let's say there are 3 or 4 guys programming that game, and now assume that 3 or 4 guys and their families have to make a living out of that. And that's quite a bit of money that they need to earn. The only question actually is if they can squeeze this money out of this project to get a living with their families, if they have. So I would be pretty curious what the sales numbers of U-Boat actually were over the last, say, 5 years. I just hope that they do earn quite a bit of money. They actually earn it.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 0 Grad.
Okay, airplane right ahead. Let's give it a save. I guess it's an airplane. Let's see. It's evening, 5 o'clock. No, not the deck gun, but please go for the flag gun.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Alles klar, ich werde mich darum kümmern.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Verstanden, Herr Kommandant.
Let's see if we can get them done.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 155 Grad.
All right, let's see. Let's see. Maybe we're gonna get away without confrontation.
Herr Kaloy, wir wurden entdeckt.
Keine Panik. Konzentriert euch auf eure Aufgaben.
Oh yeah, it's really getting late. Tonight I only got the opportunity to start streaming at 1 o'clock, and yeah, that's pretty late. Usually I start at something like 12 o'clock. But yeah, we had 2 hours of streaming, so I think we're fine. At least for me, I'm perfectly fine. I had good fun, and it was a pleasure to have you in. Let's give this situation a save and continue tomorrow. Yeah, I just have to get to bed. It's getting so late. Yeah, sorry guys, I see that quite a lot of people have been dropping into the stream right now, but around here in Frankfurt area where I live, it's 3 o'clock, past 3 o'clock in the morning. And so I'm definitely gonna do some streaming tomorrow, so I would be so happy to see you then. So, see you guys. It was a pleasure. Maybe see you tomorrow.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Hey, Gerald, what do you mean this sausage named after the city? Or the city named after the sausage? Which one do you mean? Lyon? Frankfurt, yep. I think the sausage was named after the city, yep. And it's pretty ordinary, so Frankfurt sausages, they are nothing special. You get them all over Germany, and well, just around here it seems like they are named after the town of Frankfurt. I don't know. I really don't know the history, the etymology of Frankfurt sausages. But they're alright. So guys, Gerald, weight loss. Colin, weight, not weight, just cold. You were also briefly in the stream. Aqua-icing, was a pleasure to have you. And I would be so glad if all of you guys would be in the stream tomorrow. So see you then, and have a good night or good evening, depending on where you are. See ya.